Paris Bourdon's painting, Apparition of the Sibyl to Emperor Augustus, depicts a medieval Christian legend described in the 13th century in a famous work by Italian writer Jacobus de Voragine, The Golden Legend. According to it, the Roman Emperor Augustus, who wished to be deified during his lifetime, received a prophecy from the Tiburtine Sibyl, a prophetess who lived at the beginning of the 1st century AD, that he would see the true God. Shortly thereafter, Augustus witnessed a vision of the Madonna holding the infant Jesus Christ in her arms and renounced his deification. The legal content of the painting is related to the legal status of the top officials of the ancient Roman state. The title of emperor came from the concept of imperium, the supreme power vested in the top officials of Rome, many of whom had both military and civil authority. The emperor was also princeps, first among equals in the Senate. A distinctive feature of the status of princeps was the combination of the power of a tribune, which allowed him to control the legislative process through the right of veto, with supreme military authority and power over the provinces. Some emperors also received the status of high priest or the great pontiff. In many ancient states, it was customary to deify the figure of the ruler. The Roman Empire was no exception. The divine cult of the emperor began to take shape here during the reign of Augustus and lasted until the beginning of Christianization of the state, with the adoption of the Edict of Milan in 315 under Constantine the Great. Deification, or apotheosis, was formalized by a decision of the Senate at the suggestion of the emperor. In extraordinary cases, the Senate could carry out deification on its own. By decree of the Senate, the emperor was awarded the title divus, or divine, which became an integral part of his name, and a priest was appointed to worship the cult. Some researchers, however, note that the idea of Bourdon's painting encompasses not only Augustus, but also events that took place 1500 years later in the Holy Roman Empire of the German nation. It's known that European rulers often compared themselves to ancient figures, exemplifying it in their policies. In particular, when the question of who would occupy the throne of the Holy Roman Empire was raised in 1519, supporters of the Spanish King Charles I, who claimed the imperial throne, used the legend of the prophecy of the Tiburtine Sibyl, associating him with Augustus. The position of emperor was elective, but the sacred nature of the monarch was conferred by his coronation by the Pope. From the 13th century, the right to elect the emperor was granted to a limited number of imperial princes, the so-called prince-electors. The main legal act governing this area was the Golden Bull of 1356. This document defined the rules for electing the emperor, as well as the feudal privileges of the subjects of the empire, which limited imperial power. The emperor exercised supreme secular power and administered justice, and was also the chief representative of the empire in international relations. However, his ability to declare war, make peace, and form alliances on behalf of the entire empire was limited, and required the consent of the princes of the territories that made up the empire.